and today we're gonna read The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission, Book 10. Monday with a Mad Genius. Now, Jack and Annie and Leonardo da Vinci are at a lot of countryside, and now Jack and Annie and Leonardo da Vinci are going to Leonardo da Vinci's house, and Jack and Annie are going to help Leonardo da Vinci. Now today we're gonna start reading at chapter 4, Battle Scenes, and the end of reading at chapter 5, okay? Now, are you ready to read this one book with a lot of stories? And now here we go! And first you can read is The Magic Tree of Merlin Mission 10, Monday with a Mad Genius. Chapter 4, Battle Scenes. Jack and Annie hurried to keep up with Leonardo. So where are you going? Annie asked. To the palace of the Great Council, said Leonardo. I was hired to paint the fresco of the council hall. I've been working on it for months. What is fresco? Asked Jack. It's a work of art painted onto the wall, said Leonardo. One must spray plaster to the wall and then paint very quickly before it dries. Sound like fun, said Annie. Not for me, said Leonardo. I believe great artwork clears must dry. I like to paint slowly and I change things as I go along. So for this fresco, I've invented a special oil paint that dries very slowly. Does it work? Said Jack. Too well, said Leonardo. Now I have a new problem. Neither to the pastor nor all my oil paints has dried all. Oh no, said Annie, but today all will be well. Leonardo said cheerfully, I have a plan to spend the drying process. This morning I'll fix everything. Leonardo led Jack and Annie to the square of the large building. There it is, he said, the palace with the great council. The palace looked like a fortress. It had a rough-looking stone walls and the tower that rose high into the air. The palace is a very important place, said Leonardo. It is where the governing council of the Fallen's meetings. Come along. He opened one of the grand doors and guided Jack and Annie to the country yard with the fountain. This way to the council hall, he said. And the last work from Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo bounced up some steps down at the corner, and Jack and Annie hurried after him until he passed through another grand doorway and stopped. Leonardo put down at his basket and raised his hands. My fresco, he said. Oh man, breathed Jack. They were in an enormous room with tall arched windows that passed white halls. Several with the young man stood into the wooden platform from the wall side of the room. One wall above them was a giant painting with the battle scenes. It showed like a tangle of the man of the horseback fighting over a flag. The man's painting seemed to be in a furley as they slashed and each other with their swords. Their faces are twisted and their mouths snaring. Even their horses looked like white and angry. The city was painted to the paint since from the battle once fight to a defend fallen, said Leonardo. They wanted to meet paint in the sense of the glory, but I believe war is basically madness. I hope my painting shows that. Oh, it does, said Annie. Jack nodded. It was a scariest painting he had ever seen. Zorro, called Leonardo. One young man had played for him, climbed down to the ladder and jumped on the floor. He was a studying-looking teenager with the red face and the wavy black hair. Oh, are things any better this morning? Asked Leonardo. No, the painting is still very damp to touch, said Zorro. And then let us protect your plan, said Leonardo. Did the pots arrive from the blacksmith? Yes, over there, said Zorro. He pointed at the two large iron pots beneath the platform. Do you bite at the wood? Said Leonardo. Yes, said Zorro. He pointed to the pile of wood stacked against the wall. Leonardo sat down at his basket and handed over to the platform. Oh, what's the plan, Leonardo? Asked Annie as she and Jack had followed him. My apprentice and I will fill with the pots with the wood and lift them onto the platform, said Leonardo. Then we will light fires in them. The heat of the fires will quickly dry the fresco. How can we help? Asked Jack. Bring us some kind things, said Leonardo. No problem, said Jack. He put down his bag, and he and Annie hurried to the woods and stacked. Kindling, she said. Small piece of wood, said Jack, as they catch the fire first to help get the big piece started. Jack and Annie have picked up the sticks and twigs from the wood stack as they carried the kindling back to the Leonardo, and he have dumped to the iron pots. Zorro brought over some logs. Then he and Leonardo looked at the handles of the pots of the system of ropes and pullers. And pull, Leonardo shouted. The aprons on the platform pulled on the ropes with the heavy pots swung into the air. Steady, steady, Leonardo shouted. The aprons slowly held up to the pots, and they pulled them to the platform and placed it into the front of the fresco. Light the fire, said Leonardo. Zorro lit the candle from the torch at burning to the entrance of the hole, and he had carried off the candle up the ladder and used it to a fire to light the kindling. Soon the wood of the pots began to blaze. Bring more wood, Leonardo shouted. Bring more wood. Jack and Annie hurried back to the wood pile. They gathered bigger pieces of the wood and rushed into the back ladder. Aprons lift the wood to the platform and add it to the fires of the pots. Soon the flames are shooting high to the air, warning to the fresco. Standing to the Leonardo began to platform, and Jack and Annie stared up at the battle scenes. The room grew hotter and hotter. Hotter and hotter, the fire blazing above, the smoke curling through the air. Jack felt like as he was in the middle of the battle himself. He could hear the clanging swords, naming the noises and shouting to the man. He could feel the blessing madness or war that Leonardo was talking about. Suddenly, Jack heard the real shrieks. Leonardo's aprons were yelling. It is drifting, master, one cried. The paint is running, shouted another. Jack looked back at the fresco. The helmets of the warriors are melting down over at the furious faces. Ah, cried Leonardo with a look of horror. Kill the fires! Kill the fires! Oh, I think the fires have... Oh, Jack and Annie are taking some woods. So it makes a fire when we put a lot of woods and do it like this. But now the fires come very big, and the fires on the Leonardo's paintings. Oh no. Now it's chapter 5, knock, knock. Now tomorrow we start reading at chapter Or tomorrow we start reading at chapter 5. No, not at the end of reading at chapter 6 or 7. Or we're gonna have a new beginning, new stories, okay? And now, did you have fun? Eula's English Country will come back with 70s book and the stories. Maybe not, or new beginning, new stories, okay? Now, please don't say my YouTube if you like my YouTube too. Bye-bye, everybody, and have a nice day. Bye!